Hello, I'm Llewellyn Falco, and today we're going to do an introduction to small basic recipes. So we start on the web page on the wikis for the small basic, and we can see all the different recipes, what they'll produce, and the actual recipe sitting there. And we're going to start today with the simple square, which I already have opened in small basic. So the first thing is these are all comments, they're not actually code. Our job is to turn them into code. And we're going to start with show the tortoise. And in English, we always start with show, the verb, and then we find out what we're going to show later. But in programming, we always start with the noun. So we have to get the attention of the tortoise right off the back. To do that, we're just going to type tortoise. And you can see the help comes up, and I can just complete that using either the enter or the tab. And again, in English, we use these spaces to separate the words, but in programming, we use dots. And once I do a dot, I can find all the things I can tell the tortoise to do. In this case, I want him to show, and I can use my arrow keys to go up and find something that will do that. So, show is the right thing. So I'm going to say show, and if we look over here in our documentation, we can see that when we call show, it needs to have parentheses. So I'm just going to add 2 parentheses there, and let's run this and see what happens. Great, the turtle is currently being displayed. So let's go back and do a little bit more. I'm going to jump down here to the first time we actually get the tortoise to move. And again, we're going to start with the noun, so get the attention of the tortoise, and then ask it to move. And you can see in the documentation again, we have these parentheses, but in between there we want the length in pixels. So in this case it's 50 pixels that we want it to move, so we're going to pass in 50. And let's run that. Great. Now let's go back up to where we started and make that tortoise move as fast as possible. So again, I'm going to get the attention of the tortoise, and then I need to do something with the tortoise that will affect its speed. And again, as I scroll through what I have options, I can see that I can set the speed of the tortoise. So I'm going to go to set speed, and in here on my documentation I can see I need to pass in a speed, and I can see the speed is from 1 the slowest to 10 the fastest. I want it to go as fast as possible, so that's going to be set speed 10. And now he just moves a lot quicker. Next, we have to choose a random color for the pin, but before I do that, I'm just going to choose purple, which is my favorite color. So again, get the attention of the tortoise, and we're going to have to find a way that we can set the pin color. And you can see one of our options here is to set the pin color. And I'm just going to pass in purple first, because again, that's my favorite color. Great, and now we have a purple line. Now that I got that working, let's go and get it to do what was actually requested, which is a random color. And to do that, I'm going to have to go to the color object and ask it to get me a random color. And again, in our documentation, you can see that it requires those parentheses again. So now we're drawing the line, but each time it will be a different color. This time it looks like a light blue, which is pretty close to purple. Now I need to make the tortoise move to the right. So again, one more time, get the attention of the tortoise and ask it to turn. And you can see that I actually have a couple options here. I could do turn right, or I could just do turn and pass it an arbitrary number. In this case, I'm going to say turn the arbitrary number. We can see that we need to pass in the degrees, and so I have to pass in 90. Great. Lastly, we need to do this 4 times. The easiest way I can think of to do that is to simply copy and paste it 4 times. And that's our first square with small basic.